There comes a quiet point in life when the skin no longer asks for force, only understanding. What once healed quickly now responds to patience. Infection, irritation, and discomfort are not signs of failure. They are reminders that gentle care and steady movement protect dignity, health, and years ahead. There is a quiet relationship we all have with our skin, one that often goes unnoticed until something feels off. For most of life, skin is simply there doing its work without complaint, protecting us, adapting with us, bearing the marks of time without asking for attention. Later in life, that quiet partnership begins to change. Not suddenly and not dramatically, but gently enough that it can be easy to overlook. Many people grow up believing that skin problems announce themselves clearly. Redness, pain, irritation, obvious signs that something needs care. But aging teaches a different lesson. The skin becomes thinner, drier, slower to recover. It may no longer warn loudly. Instead, it whispers. A tight feeling that lingers, a patch that takes longer to calm, a small break that seems harmless but refuses to heal as quickly as it once did. What makes this stage of life unique is not fragility, but sensitivity. The skin is still capable, still resilient, but it responds best to consistency rather than intensity. Harsh routines that once felt effective may now leave the skin unsettled. Skipping care altogether can quietly invite discomfort. The balance lies somewhere in between, and finding it requires patience rather than force. For many seniors, daily routines become streamlined over time. Efficiency replaces experimentation. What worked for years continues out of habit, not reassessment. Soap is soap. Water is water. Cleaning is cleaning. Yet the skin at 70 is not the same skin it was at 40, even if it looks similar in the mirror. Its needs have shifted, and those shifts deserve respect. There is also an emotional layer to skincare that is rarely discussed. Touch, comfort, and self-attention do not disappear with age. In fact, they become more meaningful. Taking time with one's skin is not vanity. It is presence. It is a reminder that the body still belongs to you, still deserves care, still responds to gentleness. Many people feel rushed through daily hygiene. Wash quickly, dry quickly, move on. Over time, this speed can become automatic, but later in life, rushing the skin can leave it unsettled for hours afterward. Tightness becomes background noise. Dryness becomes normal. Small irritations are dismissed as part of aging. Yet aging is not the same as neglect. There is a difference between accepting change and ignoring signals. Skin communicates through comfort and discomfort long before it escalates into visible problems. Listening early preserves ease later. Cleanliness itself is not the issue. Overcleaning, undercleaning, and cleaning without awareness are where trouble quietly begins. Skin does not benefit from extremes. It benefits from rhythm, from predictable care, from methods that support its natural balance instead of stripping it away. Many seniors were taught that cleanliness meant strong soap, hot water, and thorough scrubbing. Those habits were shaped by a different time, a different understanding. Today, we know that the skin has its own protective systems, natural oils, microscopic barriers, subtle balances that work best when supported, not overwhelmed. As we age, those systems need cooperation more than correction. Gentle cleansing is not about doing less. It is about doing what works now. Water temperature matters. Timing matters. How the skin is dried matters. Even the order of simple steps can influence how the skin feels for the rest of the day. There is also the matter of walking and movement, which many people do not connect to skin health at all. Yet movement influences circulation, temperature, and the skin's ability to recover. A body that moves regularly supports skin that adapts more smoothly. Walking is not a cure or a guarantee. It is a quiet companion to care, supporting the body's natural rhythms without demanding intensity. Later in life, care works best when it fits into real life. Complicated routines are abandoned. Harsh promises create pressure. What lasts is what feels reasonable. What lasts is what can be done calmly, without strain, without rushing. This is not about chasing perfection or preventing every possible issue. It is about reducing unnecessary irritation, about helping the skin feel calm more often than not, about preserving comfort so attention can remain on living, not managing discomfort. There is dignity in choosing methods that respect both time and body, in choosing consistency over intensity, in recognizing that small daily actions done thoughtfully carry more power than occasional dramatic effort. As this story continues, the focus will remain on awareness rather than instruction, on understanding rather than correction, because the goal is not to change who you are, but to support who you are now steadily, calmly, and with confidence. Over time, many people notice that their skin reacts differently to the same routines it has known for decades. A soap that once felt refreshing now leaves the skin feeling tight. A long shower that once brought comfort now results in dryness that lingers all day. These changes are subtle, but they are meaningful. They are not signs of failure. They are signs of transition. The skin's outer layer is designed to protect, but it also depends on balance. As years pass, that balance becomes easier to disturb. Natural oils are produced more slowly. The skin holds moisture less efficiently. Recovery takes longer. None of this happens overnight, which is why it is often dismissed. But gradual change still deserves attention. One of the most common misunderstandings later in life is the belief that skin issues come from outside alone. Bacteria, dirt, environment, these are easy explanations. But the skin's strength comes largely from within. Its ability to protect itself depends on how gently it is treated day after day. Cleaning the skin is not about removing everything. It is about removing what does not belong while preserving what does. When the skin's natural barriers are stripped too often, even small exposures can lead to irritation. Minor breaks become entry points. Dryness becomes vulnerability. What looks clean may actually be unsettled. This is where method matters more than frequency. Washing twice a day with harsh products can do more harm than gentle cleansing once a day with care. The skin does not measure effort, it responds to outcomes. Water temperature plays a larger role than many realize. Hot water feels comforting, especially to stiff joints and tired muscles, but it also dissolves the skin's protective oils more quickly. What feels soothing in the moment can leave the skin defenseless afterward. Cooler water does not need to be cold to be effective. Even a modest reduction in heat can preserve comfort hours later. The way skin is dried matters just as much. Rubbing briskly with a towel can create tiny stresses in already thin skin. Patting gently, allowing moisture to remain briefly before dressing, helps the skin retain hydration naturally. These small adjustments do not add time, they simply change intention. Products, too, deserve reconsideration. Familiar brands carry emotional weight. They are tied to memory, identity, routine. Letting go of them can feel unnecessary or even disloyal, but products are tools, not commitments. If something no longer serves, replacing it is not a loss, it is adaptation. Scent, lather, and strong, clean sensations are often signs of additives rather than effectiveness. Skin later in life benefits from simplicity. Fewer ingredients, milder formulations, less stimulation. Comfort becomes the measure, not foam. There is also the habit of overcorrecting. When irritation appears, people often respond by washing more, scrubbing harder, or switching products repeatedly. This creates a cycle of disruption. The skin does not have time to settle. It remains reactive because it is never allowed to rest. Consistency is what allows the skin to stabilize. Once a gentle routine is established, the skin often responds quietly. Tightness fades. Redness softens. Small discomforts no longer demand attention. This calm is not dramatic, which is why it is easy to overlook. But calm is the goal. Walking enters the picture here, not as exercise but as circulation. Movement encourages blood flow to the skin, delivering oxygen and nutrients that support repair. Walking does not need to be fast or long. It needs to be regular. Even brief daily movement helps the skin respond more evenly to care. Many seniors underestimate the cumulative effect of small daily habits. A gentle wash, a mindful dry, a short walk, none of these promise transformation. But together, they reduce strain. They create conditions where the skin can do its work without resistance. There is also a psychological aspect to skin comfort. When the skin feels calm, the body feels calmer. It is easier to focus, easier to rest, easier to enjoy daily activities without distraction. Discomfort, even mild, pulls attention inward. Comfort frees it. Later in life, attention is precious. Preserving it means reducing unnecessary irritations wherever possible. Skin care is not separate from quality of life. It is woven into it. As routines settle, many people notice that issues they once worried about begin to fade into the background, not because they were cured, but because they were no longer provoked. The skin was given what it needed and nothing more. This is not about chasing numbers or promises. It is about respecting the body's pace, about allowing time to work alongside care rather than against it. When the skin is treated with patience, it often responds in kind. As the skin begins to settle into a gentler rhythm, something else becomes noticeable. The body starts responding with fewer signals of protest. Itching that once appeared without warning becomes less frequent. Small irritations that lingered for days resolve more quickly. These are not miracles. They are signs that the skin is no longer under constant strain. One of the most overlooked factors in skin resilience later in life is timing. Skin repairs itself most effectively when it is not repeatedly interrupted. Frequent washing, product switching, or environmental stress leaves the skin in a perpetual state of response rather than recovery. Allowing longer stretches of calm between disturbances gives the skin a chance to rebuild its natural defenses. Nighttime is especially important. During sleep, the body shifts into repair mode. Circulation changes. Cell turnover increases. If the skin goes into the night already irritated or overly dry, it spends those hours compensating rather than restoring. A simple, gentle routine before bed can change that trajectory, not by adding steps, but by removing stress. This is where restraint becomes powerful. Doing less, more consistently, often brings better results than doing more sporadically. The skin does not need constant attention. It needs reliable conditions. Clothing also plays a role. Fabrics that once felt neutral may now cause friction or trap moisture. Tight waistbands, rough seams, or synthetic materials can irritate skin that has become more sensitive. Choosing softer, breathable fabrics is not indulgent. It is practical care. When the skin is not fighting irritation from clothing, it can focus on maintaining balance. Hydration from within matters as well, though it does not require obsession. Regular, steady intake supports circulation and elasticity. The skin reflects overall balance. When the body is slightly dehydrated, the skin is often the first to show it. Dryness, dullness, and fragility are quiet signals, not failures. Walking supports this internal balance. Movement stimulates lymphatic flow, which helps clear waste products from tissues, including the skin. This process is slow and gentle. It does not announce itself, but over time, it reduces congestion and supports clarity in the skin's appearance and feel. Many people expect visible results quickly, but skincare later in life follows a different timeline. Improvements come gradually, often noticed first as absence rather than presence. Less discomfort, less urgency, less need to adjust. This absence is meaningful. It indicates that the skin is no longer demanding attention, that it is functioning quietly, as it was designed to do. There is also an emotional shift that accompanies this change. When the skin feels predictable, daily routines feel lighter. There is less anticipation of discomfort, less bracing. This frees mental space for other things: conversation, movement, rest. Skin issues often carry embarrassment. Redness, flaking, or irritation can make people withdraw slightly, even if they do not consciously recognize it. When these issues soften, confidence returns quietly, not as vanity, but as ease. The idea that most infections fade is often misunderstood. It does not mean that care alone eliminates risk. It means that when the skin's barriers are intact, minor exposures are less likely to escalate. The skin becomes better at resolving small challenges on its own. This resilience is built, not forced. It comes from reducing friction, preserving moisture, and supporting circulation. Each element contributes a small amount. Together, they create a significant shift. Walking further supports this resilience by maintaining mobility. Movement keeps joints flexible, posture aligned, and balance engaged. All of this affects how the skin experiences pressure and friction throughout the day. When the body moves well, the skin experiences less stress. Many seniors notice that when they walk regularly, they also sleep better. Better sleep improves hormone regulation, which influences skin repair. These connections are subtle but real. The body works as a system, not in isolated parts. As routines stabilize, it becomes easier to trust the body again. Trust does not mean ignoring changes. It means believing that gentle care, applied consistently, allows the body to respond appropriately. This trust reduces the urge to constantly check, adjust, or worry. It creates a sense of partnership rather than control. The goal is not perfect skin. It is comfortable skin. Skin that allows you to focus on living rather than managing symptoms. Comfort supports confidence. Confidence supports movement. Movement supports circulation. And circulation supports the skin. This cycle does not require effort. It requires attention. As attention shifts from fixing to maintaining, the skin often becomes quieter. And quiet, later in life, is a gift. Over time, this quiet steadiness begins to influence how a person relates to their own body. There is less urgency to correct, less impulse to react. Instead, there is a growing sense of familiarity, an understanding of what the skin tolerates well and what it prefers to avoid. This awareness does not come from study or instruction. It comes from living gently with the body, day after day. Many people are surprised to realize how much tension they carried around their skin before. A constant readiness to scratch, a subtle flinch when water hits too hot or fabric rubs the wrong way. These reactions become so familiar that they fade into the background. When they lessen, the contrast is striking. The body feels calmer, even when nothing dramatic has changed. This calm is not accidental. It is the result of fewer interruptions. When the skin is not repeatedly challenged, it regains its ability to regulate itself. Oil production evens out. Sensitivity diminishes. Healing accelerates. These processes are slow, but they are reliable. Consistency matters more than intensity. A gentle method practiced every day creates stability. The skin learns what to expect. It stops bracing for disruption. This predictability is especially valuable later in life, when adaptation takes longer and recovery is more deliberate. There is also a shift in how people speak about their skin. Instead of describing problems, they describe conditions. Instead of saying something is wrong, they say it feels off or different. This language reflects a change in relationship. The skin is no longer an adversary. It is a companion, responding to care with cooperation. Walking continues to play a quiet but essential role in this process. The rhythm of movement encourages blood flow to the surface, delivering nutrients and oxygen that support repair. It also helps regulate temperature, reducing the likelihood of overheating or excessive sweating that can irritate sensitive skin. Walking does not need to be long or fast to be effective. What matters is regularity. Even short walks reinforce circulation patterns and support balance. The body responds to movement with coordination, and the skin benefits from that coordination. Many seniors notice that their posture improves with regular walking. Shoulders relax, the spine aligns more naturally. This reduces pressure points where skin can become irritated or break down. Again, the benefits are indirect, but meaningful. As the body becomes more comfortable, daily decisions feel less burdensome. Clothing choices become simpler. Activities feel more approachable. There is less need to plan around discomfort or anticipate irritation. Life opens slightly, not in dramatic ways, but in moments of ease. This ease affects social engagement. When the body feels predictable, people are more willing to participate. They linger longer in conversations. They move more freely in shared spaces. Skin comfort supports social comfort, even if the connection is not immediately obvious. There is also a psychological benefit to caring for the skin in this way. It reinforces a sense of agency, not control over aging, but participation in well-being. This participation builds confidence, which carries into other areas of life. The idea of walking toward 95 is not about numbers, it is about direction. It represents a commitment to forward movement, to maintaining connection with the body and the world. Skin health is part of that journey, not a separate concern. As routines settle, it becomes clear that many of the infections and irritations once feared were not inevitable. They were responses to stress, friction, and imbalance. When those factors are reduced, the body often resolves challenges quietly. This does not mean vigilance disappears. Awareness remains, but it is softer. Instead of watching for problems, people notice comfort. Instead of reacting to symptoms, they maintain conditions that support ease. The skin becomes less of a focus because it is no longer demanding attention. That, in itself, is a sign of success. In later years, success often looks like absence. Absence of discomfort, absence of urgency, absence of constant adjustment. These absences create space for presence, for enjoying meals, conversations, movement, and rest. The method described is not a cure. It is a way of living that respects the body's changing needs. It asks for patience rather than effort. It rewards consistency rather than intensity. As the days pass, the benefits accumulate quietly. There is no single moment when everything changes. Instead, there is a gradual realization that things feel easier, that the body feels more cooperative, that the skin feels like it belongs to you again. This belonging is important. It restores trust. Trust allows relaxation. Relaxation supports healing. The cycle continues, gently reinforcing itself. When care becomes habitual rather than reactive, the skin no longer feels like a problem to solve. It becomes part of the background of a life lived with attention, and in that background, health has room to grow, not through force but through steadiness.